Hello, everyone, and welcome to Big Sam's Long Balls podcast with me, Dan. Now, today I am going to be talking about Liverpool and Jude Bellingham once again, because it looks like there could potentially be a pre-agreement deal between Liverpool and Dortmund if we are to believe a very respectable journalist, Henry Winter, who tweeted last night something very interesting about Jude Bellingham and Liverpool. If you've seen any of my videos recently, I've been pretty convinced that the whole Jude Bellingham to Liverpool thing isn't going to happen. I can imagine him, at the Bernabeu next season playing for the mighty Real Madrid. Looks like a Galactico signing over £100 million after selling Casemiro, and we know that Real Madrid are heavily interested in him, and reports saying that he is now the number one target. More often than not, when Real Madrid want a player and they want to spend big on a player, they usually end up getting that player. So I was pretty resigned to the fact that Jude Bellingham probably wouldn't be coming to Liverpool, and I was really eager for Liverpool to go out and sign someone over the next 6 days because this is just madness to just keep the stance at this moment in time that there are no midfielders in world football other than Jude Bellingham that can improve this team. It's nonsensical to me. However, very respectable journalist Henry Winter, one of the best journalists in this country at the moment in time, potentially has put his reputation on the line. He was tweeting about Dele Alli and his move to Besiktas, which I suppose we could talk about on this podcast another time. Seems like a bit of a strange move, that, but talking about Dele Alli, sorry, getting his career back on track, and he was replying to someone who was sort of, I think, mocking the deal and talking about Bellingham's really quaking in his boots, isn't he? For a place in the England team, and Henry Winter replied, and very specific line in here saying, "I'm looking forward to seeing Bellingham at Liverpool next year." Now he hasn't deleted this tweet. Henry Winter doesn't usually break transfer news, so maybe we need to take this with a pinch of salt. However, this is a highly respected journalist, one of the best out there. You would imagine that he would be pretty convinced that Bellingham would be a Liverpool player next year to tweet something like that, because his reputation has gone out there now. Lots of people have seen it, over 1,000 likes. So it's getting the excitement going. I really hope this is true. Bellingham, if Liverpool can strike a pre-agreement deal with Borussia Dortmund, something similar that we did with Naby Keita when we did that deal with RB Leipzig 5 years ago. Hopefully, it doesn't end up the same as Naby Keita. Good grief. Hopefully, he's a little bit better than him, but that would be really, really good. However, there are still issues at Liverpool Football Club. If we manage to bring in Jude Bellingham, it's brilliant. We've got potentially one of the best midfielders in world football for the next decade at Anfield. So we should really commend the owners for that. If I'm going to criticize the owners on this channel, then I also need to praise them when they do something brilliant. And if we do bring in Bellingham, then that is a fantastic piece of business for Liverpool. However, there are still issues at this football club, and midfield itself is still an issue. And even if we manage to sign Jude Bellingham on a pre-agreement deal, as good and exciting as that will be, is that really enough? We've seen how poor the start of the season is. Yes, we know that there are players out injured, and it will bring players in. Now, I'd imagine if Liverpool do or have struck a pre-agreement deal with Borussia Dortmund, the likelihood is they'll probably reveal it on deadline day. So people don't have time to get frustrated on deadline day and things like that. However, I still feel that we need to go out into this transfer market and bring someone in, because bringing in Jude Bellingham for next summer, if that is the case, it's not going to improve our midfield this season. It's not going to get us wins right now, and that's what we desperately need, because our midfield is, and I don't think this is an overreaction to say, I think is one of the weakest in the whole league. It's not a case of it's weak compared to Man City. I think it's weak compared to near the clubs that are near the bottom of the league right now. I think would feel confident going man to man up against this Liverpool midfield. So we do need to bring someone else in. So we've spoken about Jude Bellingham already in this video. Henry Winter not confirming, but perhaps suggesting that Bellingham to Liverpool is a bit of a done deal. There are other midfielders who have been heavily linked to Liverpool over the past sort of 48 hours or so. I mean, there are conflicting reports coming out of Anfield. I suppose the main report is that Liverpool feel that there is a lack of talent out there that can improve this midfield, that seems a bit of a parody to me. But that might be the belief from those inside Liverpool at this current moment in time. I genuinely hope it isn't the belief. That seems to be the main stance. However, with that said, there are still midfielders that are being linked to Liverpool. Whether it's true or not, I cannot confirm, but I will pass on the information to all of you guys, and then we can discuss it in this video and also discuss it in the comments down below. So I suppose we should start with the least likely option, but also the option I think a lot of, well, the majority of fans I think would see ideally as a dream signing along with Jude Bellingham, and that is Barcelona's Frenkie de Jong. He has been linked over the past few days for a move to Liverpool, as it looks like a potential move to Manchester United has fallen through, with Manchester United moving on and signing Casemiro. Look like they could be spending nearly 100 million on Antony, potentially spending another 30, 40 million on the winger from PSV. They might even be bringing in other targets. I simply don't know with Manchester United anymore, but it looks like maybe the midfield isn't an area that Manchester United are looking to improve upon. So therefore, maybe there aren't as many suitors for Frenkie de Jong at this current moment in time. The links that are indeed linking, or the people linking Frenkie de Jong to Liverpool rather, aren't really the most reliable. So again, that's why I put him at the bottom of the pile here. However, with that said, this hasn't been quashed. More, if anything, more journalists, more people have been coming out and sort of confirming similar things, that Liverpool are interested in Frenkie de Jong and are willing to offer 50 million euros with potentially another 10 million euros in add-ons. Again, I don't really believe this, but let's try and see if there is a way that Liverpool could sign Frenkie de Jong. I don't think there would be a problem actually agreeing a fee with Barcelona. Barcelona themselves look very keen to get Frenkie de Jong out of the door. I don't feel because of a lack of talent. Maybe I think probably mostly to do with the wages that he's on at that football club, and they also owe him the best part of 20 million euros as well, which I don't know how Barcelona run really as a football club. So Barcelona are heavily interested, or really, really desperate, it looks like, for Bernardo Silva. Pep Guardiola himself pretty much confirmed that after their 3-3 draw in a charity game the other day. PSG are also interested in Bernardo Silva. So it looks like Bernardo Silva could potentially be on his way out of Manchester, judging by Pep's comments the other day. I'd imagine it is entirely up to Silva himself. If he wants to stay, he'll stay at Man City. If he wants to go, then he'll get to pick where he goes. That looks like that's going to happen. So if Barcelona want him, it looks like they're going to have to get Frenkie de Jong out of the door. So I do believe that striking a fee with Barcelona wouldn't actually be that tough. Again, they are willing sellers. It's not as if it's going to a club who are really reluctant to sell a star player. They do want to sell Frenkie de Jong. So that, could go in our favour if indeed we are heavily interested in him. The wages, though, it looks like would be the big stumbling block. We're not going to pay anywhere near the wages that he gets at Barcelona. He would have to take an incredible pay cut to join Liverpool Football Club, at least half of what he's on, if not potentially more. So yeah, a very unlikely deal. But the reason why, a part of me is interested in talking about this, and a part of me thinks maybe this could happen, is because Paul Joyce tweeted very recently. Paul Joyce is Mr. Liverpool really on Twitter. If you want guaranteed news about our football club, then Paul Joyce really is the man. And he was speaking about Liverpool sort of transfer targets and midfield targets and the type of player that they're looking for. And a tweet that I found really, really interesting the other day is he said that Jurgen Klopp has identified his next midfield target to be someone who can play the number 8 role, but also the number 6. Now, for me, that's not Jude Bellingham. Now, I won't sit here and pretend to be the biggest expert on Jude Bellingham. I've seen a handful of Dortmund games over the past number of years. I've seen him probably play more for England than I have for Dortmund. So again, it's very limited number of games I've seen Jude Bellingham play. Every time I have seen him play, I've been very, very impressed. But to me, he looks like a number 8. He looks like a box to box. He can get back, he can track back and help out. But he looks like, dare I say it, I'm not going to say he's the next Steven Gerrard. I'm not going to do that. But he looks like that type of midfielder where he's both ends of the pitch, really. Not a number 6, not someone who's going to dictate play. Maybe I'm wrong. Dortmund fans, tell me if I'm wrong on that, if you actually feel that Jude Bellingham's best position is a number 6. But to me, it's a number 8. So when I saw that, it didn't really make much sense to me. And potentially, if if we do believe, Mr. Henry Winter, I don't know why I said Mr. Then perhaps a deal has already been agreed in place between both clubs, and maybe both clubs are just taking time to sort of reveal this. If that's the case, then I suppose Jude Bellingham would technically already be a Liverpool player. So they're looking for someone else who can play that number 6 and number 8 role. Well, you're looking out there in world football, and you look at Frenkie de Jong. He can certainly do that. Now, do I want to see a Frenkie de Jong play as a number 6 week in, week out at Liverpool? No, I'd rather see him play as a number 8. But he can do that. He's done it for Barcelona. Again, you might sort of say it's not his strongest position, but he can certainly do that. So he fits the bill as a Liverpool style player. Again, huge pinch of salt. I don't believe this deal would happen. We've only got 6 days left of the transfer window really to go and sign someone. It would cost an awful lot of money for a team that has been incredibly reluctant to go out into the transfer market and sign a midfielder. We're not going to spend, I'd imagine, potentially over 60 million on him, and then also, a couple of 100,000 a week in wages. So unlikely, very unlikely, but I wanted to talk about it. It would be really good to see Frenkie de Jong at Liverpool. He's a fantastic player. I think he would suit us. He would improve us. It would also just be brilliant just to see it wind up Manchester United fans. But again, no, not for me. I don't think it's going to happen. Although, if Barcelona really move heavily for Bernardo Silva, then potentially that fee for Frenkie de Jong might go down as their desperation grows to get rid of him. So it could end up being a little bit of a bargain deal for a team. Another player that's been linked to Liverpool is Paredes from PSG. Now, he looked like he's been out of the door at PSG for a little while now. Pretty much a deal been agreed with Juventus, and I still feel that he will go to Juve. That deal looks like it's in its final stages. So why am I talking about Paredes to Liverpool? Well, over the past couple of days, there's been reports that there has been a little bit of a stumbling block between the two teams. Liverpool are interested in Paredes. The stumbling block is, I believe, that PSG want to sell him, again, potentially to make room for someone like a Bernardo Silva, whereas Juventus are thinking we'd rather have a loan deal with an option to buy. So Liverpool potentially could come in. I believe that PSG are willing to let him go for between 20 to 25 million. So again, not an awful lot of money. Only 28 years of age. Looks like he could be a real bargain player. Looks like he could be someone who can sort of come in and do that sort of Genie Wijnaldum role, either on the left-hand side of a midfield 3 or on the right-hand side. He looks like a player who could come in and do a really good job for Liverpool. Again, are Liverpool going to go and sign him? I possibly couldn't confirm that, but he'd be a very interesting player to see at Anfield. Although, again, I do expect to see him end up really at Juventus. But obviously, while that deal's stalling, there is a potential opportunity for Liverpool to jump in and try and nick it from under Juventus's nose. And last but certainly not least, we've been linked with a Napoli midfielder, Fabian Ruiz, 26 years of age. He only has 1 year left, I believe, on his deal. Yeah, one year left. He will be available to go for free next June, I believe. So Napoli are suggesting that they will be willing to accept 30 million euros, which would be about 26 million pounds. I'm sure we could potentially even lower that fee. He's a really, really good player. We've seen him quite a lot as a Liverpool fan because we get Napoli almost pretty much every single year in the Champions League group stage, and that tradition has carried on this year. So we will be playing Napoli once again. Could we be seeing Ruiz on our side this time when we play against Napoli? A very interesting one to keep an eye on. I think he would fit Liverpool down to the ground. He would fit those midfield roles, again, either on the left or on the right of a midfield 3. So again, another very, very interesting option. Personally, I don't think we will sign anyone. I know I made a video, I think 2 days ago, saying we will sign someone. I really felt optimistic. But over the last 24 hours, some of the reports going, Liverpool, they're going to stick to their guns. At this moment in time, I think you have to believe that. The tweet from Henry Winter has got me the most excited because I don't see a reliable journalist coming out and pretty much almost, saying for sure Jude Bellingham is going to be a Liverpool player. Not even saying, it's likely to happen, to say I'm looking forward to seeing you play for Liverpool next season is, it's a very bold statement to make. So I'm starting to feel very confident that Jude Bellingham to Liverpool is a done deal. If I'm being a little bit cynical, if you can be cynical with a deal like that, I feel that Liverpool will probably announce it on deadline day, and that will be the end of transfer activity. If you watched my video the other day, you'll know that Moises Caicedo is a player that I really like and want to see at Liverpool. Either Caicedo or Frenkie de Jong would be like an ideal midfielder to bring in over the next few days. Realistically, no, I don't see it. Paredes and Ruiz, I think, are the most interesting. I think they potentially make sense. They're fairly cheap. Ruiz himself, only has 1 year left on his deal, so we could negotiate a lower fee. And I think both players would fit this style of football. If I had to pick the most reliable or the most realistic, rather, I'd probably go with Fabian Ruiz. I think that there could be something in that rumor. But anyway, guys, let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on this. Are you really excited by this tweet from Henry Winter? Do you think, yes, Liverpool have got Jude Bellingham? Are you still a little bit dubious about that? And who do you think Liverpool will sign, if you think we are going to sign anyone, of course, but who do you think we will sign over these next 6 days? We surely have to, maybe, cynically, I kind of feel that maybe FSG won't do anything at the end of this transfer window, but I still hold out a little bit of hope. But yeah, guys, comment down below your ideal midfield signing for Liverpool over these next 6 days. We surely have to bring someone in. But yeah, those are four players who have been linked to Liverpool over the next few days. So keep a keen eye out, because it could be a very, very interesting end to this transfer window for all clubs, but in particular for Liverpool Football Club. So if you enjoyed this video, guys, then definitely give us a like, subscribe for more Big Sam's Long Balls footy chat, and I hope you enjoyed the video. So I'll see you very soon, and thank you for watching.